Good morning, Algebra 2 studs. Just wanted to say hi. I hope everything's doing well. You're healthy and safe and practicing your social distancing, and hopefully your family is healthy and safe as well. But I wanted to go over a few homework answers from Monday's assignment for you to make sure you understand. And then today I'm just going to give you for an assignment another worksheet to do like we did last week. And then next week we'll probably have a little summative assignment over sections 13.1 and 13.2. So I'll just go ahead and get started. So number 3 of your homework said draw an angle with the given measure in standard position. All right, so we have a negative 135 degree angle we're going to draw in standard position. Remember, when we go counterclockwise, it's positive degree measure. And then when we go clockwise, it's negative degree. So this one I'm going to do clockwise. So we have our initial side always starts at the origin and on the x-axis. So this is our initial side. And then our terminal side rotates around, and negative 135 is going to go down this way, negative 90 into about right there. So you make your little arrow and you draw your terminal side with your arrow. So there's our negative 135 degrees, and usually we label it with whatever it is. So it ended up in that third quadrant. Remember, first quadrant, second, third, and fourth. So that's the negative 135 degree angle in standard position. I don't think anybody had issues with those two problems. I picked one here, number 9. We were supposed to find the measures of a positive and negative angle that are coterminal with each given angle. So for these problems, all you do is add 360 and subtract 360. But since this is bigger than negative 360, I'm going to add 360 twice. So the first time I add 360 to this, I'll still get a negative number. So that's negative 30. So there's my negative coterminal angle. But if you wanted to subtract negative 360, subtract 360 from negative 390, that would also work. But I'm going to add 360 again. So here's one answer here, negative 30. But I'm going to add 360 to that again, since it's still negative, so I can get a positive. And that'll be a positive 330 degrees. So there's the two answers there. So basically, you are adding and subtracting 360. But in this case, we just added 360 twice because I had a negative 390 degrees. Okay? And again, you guys were doing well on that on your homework. Number 15 here says, find the measure of the reference angle for each given angle. And remember, a reference angle is always between the x-axis and the terminal side, wherever it is. Oops, didn't want to do that. But it's always a positive answer. No matter what theta is, our original angle, okay, our reference angle is always going to be positive. So again, this is a negative 130, so I'm going to go, this direction. And I would get, if I start here and go negative 130, it's going to come down here. All right, there's my negative 130. All right, the reference angle is between the x-axis and that terminal side. So that's what I'm looking for here, where this green arc is. And all I do, since I'm in the third quadrant, I'm going this way, I know if I would have went halfway around, it would be negative 180. So I want to find the difference between this side and this. Remember, that's 180 and that's 130. Okay, so basically I'm just going 180 minus 130. So I'm just going to make it look like a subtraction problem there. And our answer would be 50. So our reference angle is 50 degrees. And remember, it's always positive no matter if we start and go in negative direction or positive direction. Okay, remember, first quadrant, second, third, and fourth quadrants. All right, but we're always looking between, my terminal side and the 180 in the second quadrant, my terminal side and 180 in my third, my terminal side and 360 in my fourth. And in the first quadrant, it's just whatever you got this from the x-axis up. So if it was a 45-degree angle, then our reference angle is 45. So just a quick review of that. And then the last one I was going to go over is 23. And this is when you were given a point, and you were supposed to plot that point on your XY axis, and 1, 6 would be over here in the first quadrant, and then you draw a triangle, okay? So I'm going to move this triangle over, so where we would draw it in that first quadrant, okay? And I'm going to say that this point up here is 1, 6. So I'm going to make it, let's say, red. A red dot here. Okay, so that dot is the point 1, 6. Okay, so that means this distance along the x-axis is just 1. Okay, even though it's not, to scale, that's going to be a 1. And this distance from the x-axis straight up along this side, this leg of my triangle, will be 6. Okay, we can draw a right angle in here. We always put our right angle there. And then theta is always back by the origin, right here. That's our reference angle. That's our point of reference. Okay, and we're supposed to find all 6 trig ratios or trig functions for this triangle. Well, before I can find all 6 trig functions, I've got to find the hypotenuse. So I got to use the Pythagorean theorem first. Okay, so it's just going to, let me get a pen going here. So it's just going to be a squared, the 1 squared, plus the other leg, b squared, which is 6 squared, equals c squared, which is my hypotenuse. All right, well, 1 squared is 1 and 6 squared is 36. So 1 plus 36 is 37 equals c squared, remember. So I have to take the square root of 37 so I can find c. Okay, so there's my picture now of my right triangle. And now I can find all 6 trig ratios like we did in the last section, okay? So I've got sine of theta is going to be, here's theta, opposite, remember SOHCAHTOA, opposite 6 over hypotenuse, square root of 37. And again, I apologize for my writing. It's hard to do using my mouse, but I have to rationalize this. Don't forget about that. Some of you forgot that on section 13.1. So remember, that's a 6 square root of 37 over 37 for that first answer. Okay, and then I like to do the other 3 right with it, the reciprocals. So the reciprocal of sine would be cosecant. So C, SC is the letters we use for that. And I just flipped this original fraction. So it's a square root of 37 over 6. It looks like a 31, but that's a 7 there, sorry. Okay, don't try to flip this one here at the end. Excuse me. Just flip the original, then you don't have to worry about rationalizing anything. Right, and then we got cosine is next of theta. Remember, that's adjacent. Here's theta, so adjacent side over hypotenuse. So that's 1 over square root of 37. And then, remember, we'll rationalize it. So 1 times the square root of 37 over 37 when we finish that. And then its reciprocal is secant, which we use SEC. And again, I'll just use this original. So it's the square root of 37 over 1. And then tangent and cotangent. Tangent of theta, TOA, opposite 6 over adjacent 1, 6 over 1, or you can leave it 6 if you want. And then cotangent of theta is the reciprocal of that. So adjacent 1 over opposite 6. So there's our 6 trig ratios. So I thought I'd take one from each part of your homework and go over it for you if you had any questions. Remember, you can conference with me. I'm sorry I didn't make it yesterday because I had a funeral to go to, but they've changed a little bit. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm only going to have conference time for you guys from 12 to 12:30 instead of 12 to 12:30 and 1 to 1:30. They cut it in half because of all the traffic on the internet. It was getting hard for conferences to work. So for Algebra 2, you guys, Mondays and Wednesdays from noon to 12:30, and then Tuesdays and Thursday mornings from 8 to 8:30. Again, if you need to talk to me individually and those times don't work, just email me and we'll set up a time where we can conference, or I can just call you on my phone and talk you through some things. So don't hesitate to call me, or email me, and I'll help you out the best I can. Again, I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and your family's safe and healthy as well. And you guys have a good Easter. Friday is Good Friday. Again, you don't have to worry about doing any schoolwork then. And Sunday's Easter. I hope you enjoy that time with your family. Again, don't hesitate to get a hold of me, and I'll help you out the best I can. Check in on your classmates and your friends and make sure they're doing all right as well. So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next Monday. I'll post something else. So have a great day.